Guard your heart above everything else. Why? Why? For your heart determines the trajectory of your life. I believe that he's referring to the subconscious mind here. And we know at House on the Rock that your subconscious is the operating center. It's the operating system for your life. Because God likes to automate your behavior. And so he designed you for automated behavior. The next version is the NIV. And the NIV says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. You get it? It's meant to be automatic. Flow indicates automation. Yeah? Amplified. Keep and guard your heart with all vigilance. That keeping and guarding means be aware that you have a subconscious mind, a mind you are not conscious of, until you are deliberate and deliberately conscious that you are not normally conscious of it. So keep and guard your heart with all vigilance to find out what it's making you do automatically. So sometimes you have to turn off automatic to make sure that whatever is automating is correctly aligned with God's plan and purpose for your life. Yes, sir. And above all, that you guard, keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flow the springs. I mean, like a spring. You know, you can't, even if you jump, you can't get there. But if you jump on a trampoline, you'll get there. That's what he's saying. Guard your subconscious. Look after it. Pay attention to it. Don't let it run on an alternative cultural plan that doesn't harmonize with the culture of the kingdom of heaven. Romans 12 and verse 2. Two versions, NLT and AMP. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. The first text we read teaches you how to not copy. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Where? Subconscious. Subconscious. Then you will learn to know God's will. You will learn to experience this incredible plan that God has for you. Which plan is good, it's pleasant, and it's perfect. Let's make it clear in the Amplified. Paul taught Timothy, he said, pay attention to reading. And so when we read the Word of God publicly, we want to give it some explanation. We do the exposition in the teaching. Do not be conformed to this world. If you conform to this world, it means you've taken your information from the world and it now forms you. So don't be conformed to this world. Don't be fashioned after and adapted to its external superficial customs. But custom simply means what is normal, norms, values. But be transformed, meaning changed, by the entire renewal of your mind. Now, what he's saying is you're going to have to renew your critical thinking mind. That's your conscious mind. And because that shapes your automatic mind, you also have to critically review your subconscious mind. Yeah? By its new ideals and its new attitude, that's how you're going to be transformed. So that you can experience for yourselves. That's what prove means. What is the good, simultaneously acceptable, and simultaneously perfect plan or will of God, even the thing which is good and acceptable and perfect in his sight for you. God doesn't like it when you're sick, broke, afraid, insufficient, and unanointed. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. Let's look at Genesis 41. Verse 14 to 16, you don't need to read it. But this phenomenon. He's a little boy when he comes into Egypt. He's exiled by his brother's hatred into the plan of God. Isn't God wonderful that he incorporates your wicked haters into the planning system to get you to where he has planned for you to experience God's good? Yeah? Can you dig that? I'm still jacked for you. And he's going through a personal development program through all of this. The pit, Potiphar's house, the false accusation puts him in the prison. And that's the most important connection in his life, what happens to him in the prison. It's also the most important development area. And he's developed. But there's still a few finishing touches that God wants to put on him. That don't try to do it yourself. Just develop yourself according to my plan and let me be the hand that shapes the clay. But don't try to position yourself. Just yield to my positioning. Yeah? And I don't want to read the whole thing. The butler forgets Joseph, doesn't tell the king about it because that was God's plan. That he wouldn't come out prematurely, he'd come out maturely at the precise time. Yeah. And having forgotten to do that, the right time comes and Pharaoh has these troubling dreams that forecast what he doesn't understand. So he wants somebody to interpret it for him. He has all these magicians, soothsayers, marabouts, and God puts their knowledge far beneath, incapable of accessing the interpretation. He had reserved that interpretation for Joseph. There's some things that are hidden, not from you, for you. That's why if you're not already earning $60,000 a month, you don't need to watch that much television. You need to be reading something. You need to be studying something and developing yourself. So the king says, go get him. Because the butler says, I know the guy who can do this. It was remiss of me to have forgotten. This guy, he'll tell you everything and he's not afraid. He told the baker that he's going to die. I said, your own is too difficult for me to read. Told him like it was. And the Pharaoh says, tell me my dream. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not in me. Because they say it's you that can tell you. It's not in me. He doesn't take credit for the knowledge. God shall give Pharaoh, I'm just going to be an instrument, an answer of peace, sufficiency. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, in my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, there came up out of the river 7 kind, fat-fleshed, and well-favored. I'm going to tell you the story because I don't have time to read. I want to get out of here quickly. There's a tennis match and a football match I want to watch. And there were fat cows, and the 7 of them meant 7 years. And then all of a sudden, skinny cows came and ate up the fat cows. And they remained skinny. Doesn't it sound like your country? Really, doesn't it sound like your country? It's not, that's not my first country, Shao. In my country, the cattle are always fat. My country is called the Kingdom of Heaven. And then he had the dream again, but this time it wasn't cattle, it was grain. And the fat grain, 7 years. And the skinny grain, 7 years. And they ate up the fat grain and they were still skinny. That was a bad warning. God spoke to a king, but the king did not understand the Lord's language. There are kings all over this place, all over this country, that don't speak God's language, but you do. There's one in America, there's one here, there's one in your industry, and you are supposed to be the interpreter. Sometimes it's a king in your industry who just needs your counsel and your consultation. That's why you need to develop your knowledge base. And then we pick up the story, I believe it's in verse 33. And God told Pharaoh, through Joseph, what God is about to do, he's showing you, Pharaoh. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine. And all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine. That's the warning. And it shall be very egregious. And for that, the dream was doubled. In other words, verily, verily. Unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing, it is already established by God. And it was sure, he will surely bring it to pass. Okay. Now therefore, this is counsel. He's given revelation, now he's giving counsel. Now therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. By the way, he wasn't bargaining for himself. He was hopeful that there was a man capable of this. Let Pharaoh do this and let him appoint officers over the land. So don't only appoint the man, give him a team. And take up 20%. The Department of Agriculture in the United States till today puts aside 20% of all its produce. Help Nigeria, oh Baba. Take up the 20% of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years. In other words, store 20%. And let them gather all the food of those good years that come and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities. That word cities is misleading. It's actually citadels, and it means fortresses in every town. And the fortress serves as a watch point for watchmen, but it's also a storehouse for grain. So this is infrastructural development for industry, for agriculture, and for profitability. You need a wise man for that. Not the fools that end up in those kind of spaces. And that food shall be forestored to the land against the 7 years of famine. What are we defending? What should we be building to defend the possibilities of our posterity? If you wait for government, it will never happen. Because politicians, they lie. They promise high income when they haven't made provision for high value. Where you put your money and your best assets tells me where your value is. And then he goes on to say, that's how it will be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through famine. Verse 37. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, his advisors, can we find such a person as Joseph has described, in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as you. Look at a neighbor, say, he's talking about you right now. You know why? The all-wise one, if you're a Christian, and genuinely so, he lives inside of you. Is there another verse? Let's see what 40 says. Is there 40? And he says, you will be over my house, and according unto your word shall all my people be ruled. Only in ceremony, throne, will I be greater than you. That's what God the Father, who is our Pharaoh, he's our king, that's what he's saying about you. I don't need to be executive. You be my executors.
But this is why I would blame him. Because what he went on to later do, to gaslight Nigerians, to tell Nigerians that there's a collective power, there's something they can do to overturn the effect of bad government policy. That's where me and Pastor Paul Adefarasin separate. And that is one thing that is common with this CIA version of Christianity that the CIA has forced on Nigerians. The CIA version of Christianity. That's the problem I have with it. These pastors and some Christians, they know the truth. And they must now come out to tell Nigerians that's truth that will set Nigerians free. Pastor Paul, you gathered those, your members, and you are telling them that they can come together, there's a creativity in them, they will do great. You forget to tell them that there is no amount of enterprise creativity that you can have when you have bad government policies. No such creativity will work. No such ideas will work. Creativities and ideas are shaped and shaped by government policy. This is what the truth is that you must now tell Nigerians. God is not the solution to their problem. God is not the solution to the problem of Nigeria. And Satan is not the cause of the problem of Nigeria. This is the truth that you guys know that you have not been telling Nigerians. And this is the truth that the weaponized CIA version of Christianity that is being practiced in Nigeria today was built on. And they needed to do that because it does one very important thing, that we help to keep Nigeria a beggar country, a consumption country and not a production country. One thing. Everybody will always attack the cause of their problem. Everybody will always attack the cause of their problem. So if a person thinks that the cause of their problem is the devil, the person will leave everything else and begin to pursue the devil. And also, the converse of that is true. Every person will pursue the source of their solution or the solution to their problems. So if a person, Nigerian, African, anybody, perceives that, oh, the problem is coming from a particular location, they will always go in that direction. This is where you must now come out and tell Nigerians the truth. God is not the solution to the problems of Nigeria. And I'm not saying that God cannot solve the problem. He can. But he cannot shit for us. No matter how much God loves us, he cannot help us to go to the toilet to poo-poo if we don't get up and stand up and go to the toilet by ourselves. So the solution to Nigeria cannot come from God when he has given us the brain to solve the problems ourselves. The solution to Nigeria is not from God, and the devil is not the cause. As long as you guys hide this truth from Nigerians, I said it now, people will always pursue and fight the cause of their problem, and they will always chase after the solution to their problem. So long as they perceive and they believe, the pastors, the imams, the traditional herbalists, so long as Nigerians believe that what they say is true, that when a pastor says that God is the solution to your problem, they will leave everything else and be chasing after God. And if they believe what the pastor says, what the imam says, that the devil is the cause of their problem, they will leave everything else and be fighting the devil. Many of you do not understand why. Nigerians are very religious. They go to church every Sunday. They go to mosque every Friday. In fact, every day. Judiciously. It's because they are doing these two things. They are pursuing God that they perceive is the solution to their problem, and they are fighting the devil that they perceive is the cause of their problems. And this is because of the truth that religious leaders have hidden from us. The weaponized Mujahideen version, the CIA version of Islam that we are practicing in Nigeria today, Who invented the Mujahideens? It was the CIA that invented the Mujahideens of Afghanistan, this violent extremist Islam. That version of Islam was invented by the CIA to weaponize Islam, good religion, but it was weaponized by the CIA when they invented the Mujahideen, the violent version, to weaponize the Afghans against the Russians. Don't play with the CIA. Don't play with the Amelites, a group of American elites that want to continue to control the world. Don't play with them. These people, they sit down, they take time, they study human behavior, and they look for ways to manipulate human behavior in their favor so that they can achieve what they want. All they want is for Nigeria to continue to be a subservient country to the IMF and the World Bank, so that they can continue to plunder the resources of Nigeria. That's all. And that is why you will find that a Tinubu, and it's not my words now, ask all Jews or Kalu. A Tinubu is simply implementing the dictates, the desires of IMF and World Bank. And they know that it is this that is the reason why Nigerians are suffering, because of bad government policies implemented to please people who are supposed to be enemies, or at least people who don't have the best interest of Nigeria at heart. As they weaponized the Mujahideens, weaponized Islam, and they have spread that extremist version into Nigeria. Now, in the beginning, was Islam like this? In the 60s, in the 50s, even when you had the Uthman Danfodius, was it like this? We cohabited in peace in the 60s up to the 70s, and then the mid-70s. That is when all this weaponization started. Weaponization of Islam, weaponization of Christianity. That was when it started. And the sole purpose of the weaponization of Islam and Christianity is to shift the attention of people at a subconscious level, to make them pursue God, believing that they are pursuing the solutions to their problem, and make them fight the devil, believing they are fighting the cause of their problem. And it started with Pentecostalism. That was when, instead of going to UK or going to Europe, where Christianity started, they started going to America. Just name all the big general overseers. They went there. And check out all of the Islamic clerics, those that are fueling this extremist Islam. Check them. They have links to Afghanistan, to Pakistan, to Iran. We have weaponized religion being practiced here. And it's practiced for one purpose: to make Nigerians pursue God as the solution to their problem and fight the devil as the cause of their problem. Why is this dangerous? It is dangerous because the real cause of the problems that Nigerians are suffering right now is bad government policies. That is the devil responsible for the problems that Nigerians are facing right now. Bad government policies. Oh, Nigerian youths are lazy. Nigerian youths are lazy. Wait, Kosa. Bad government policies. If Nigerian government wants to make every Nigerian youth to be productive in 6 months, they can do it. Policy, just one policy will affect that. So if you come out and say, oh, Nigerian youths are lazy, they don't want to work. Now, government policy. If the Nigerian government comes up with a policy today to say, okay, there is free agricultural tools to help with farming. All you just need is come, make yourself available. We give you some day-old chick. We give you access to feeds. Just train them. After 6 weeks to 8 weeks, we sell the chicken. We share it. Every single Nigerian youth will be interested. And if there is no corruption in its implementation, it is not by godfatherism and who you know. If it is a level playing field, everybody has access to it. And it is for everybody, not some people. Because you come out now and you make it a palliative, then we have a problem. If the government comes up with such a policy, tell me, will Nigerian youth still be lazy? They won't. They will work. That is what the Chinese have done. That is what the Indians have done. If Nigerian youths are lazy today, now government policy cause am. If the mainstay of Nigerian youth today is Olosho and Yahoo, it's government policies. Donald Trump said it that in a society where terrorists are the heroes, children want to become terrorists. When we live in a society where the heroes, the people that are celebrated, are the corrupt politicians with their display of illicit or ill-gotten wealth, people want to become such things. And if they can't access it, the next best thing is to do what? To do Yahoo. Or if they are female, the next best thing is to become Olosho. So at least they can get the money some other way. Government policy. Business is slowing down. We are buying fuel today because at very expensive rate. Why? Government policy. Government can implement a policy today, expose the corruption, the tremendous corruption that goes on in Nigeria's oil and gas, expose it, right? Retrieve monies that have been stolen by individuals and use that money to fix our refineries. And we can be buying fuel at 300 naira, 250 naira per liter. Today, government policy. People are using the name of government to borrow money and use our crude oil as collateral. They call it forward sales agreement. The money they borrowed, we can't see. Our crude, we can't see. They give the excuse now that the reason they can't give enough crude to Dangote is because, oh, we have used it to borrow money. Where's the money? Where's the crude? We can't get. What is happening? Corruption. So if you have a government policy in place that exposes the corruption, takes out that corruption, retrieve stolen money, what are we even saying? Your production is capped by OPEC. Why not leave OPEC? Angola left. Some countries are leaving. Why will Saudi Arabia be doing 10 million and we are only allowed to do 1.8 million, even 1.5? When we have reserves that can go as far as, 5 million. What stops us from doing it? Corruption. So if the right government policy is in place, we'll be buying fuel at 300 naira per liter. So the cause of the problems of Nigeria is bad government policies. And the reason these policies are bad is not because the policies are bad on their own. It's because they are implemented with corruption or implemented corruptly. Why are our road infrastructure in terrible state? The roads have been awarded. Contracts for the repair of the roads have been awarded. They are being awarded every year. But contractors, based on kickback, which is the corruption we're talking about, they have to give kickback. By the time they give kickback, there's no money to implement the project. They take their own and the road is left undone. Next year, they will award it again. The same thing will happen. A cycle of corruption. The same thing with education. Monies are allocated. You say the money is not enough, but the ones that are even allocated does not trickle down to the people, the teachers, the schools that actually need it. Why? Corruption. The same thing with healthcare. Just name it. The insecurity we're talking about today is corruption. So the cause of the problems that Nigerians are facing is government policies. But the church, the pastors, the imams, the mosque, they are making Nigerians believe that it is the devil that is the cause and that the solution is God. No, this truth that I'm talking about now, pastors know it. Perhaps they are afraid that if we have a working Nigeria, people may not go to church again. People may not go to mosque. It's the bitter truth. And so to keep themselves relevant, they have to hide this truth. And that is why a Pastor Paul Adefarasin can come and start off with a truth, but bend the truth later on in the end to gaslight Nigerians instead of holding a Tinubu accountable. Fellow Nigerians, this is the conclusion of the matter. The problems that you are facing, even the problems in your marriage, the problems in your home, the problems in your business, the problems in your health, the problems in your society, insecurity, poor road infrastructure, all of those problems, they are not caused by the devil. They are caused by bad government policies. And God will not solve those problems for you. You have to change your government that is implementing this bad policy, replace it with a government that will implement good policy. That is how this problem can be solved. God will not come down and solve it for you. And on this note, I rest my case. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Oh, before I even say that, don't forget, subscribe for Vote Watch. That's the only way we can have free and fair elections in 2027. Click the link in the description for details. Okay, now I can say God bless you and God bless Nigeria.